Adam Collins here at Lords at the end of a very quick, very unusual but quite satisfying test match between England and Ireland. The first time that Ireland have played at the home of cricket. England have eventually got over the line by 143 runs, but it's almost worth disregarding the final margin and reflecting on some quite astonishing scenes on morning one. Ireland knocking over the host for just 85 in the first session of a test match at Lords. Incredible scenes, given that it was only the third time the Irish side have stepped out in a test match. And then the reverse was true on the final day, where Ireland was skilled for 38, chasing 182 for what would have been one of the biggest upsets in the history of test cricket. That's the lowest score ever recorded in a test match here, lowering the mark of 42 set in 1974. Chris Woakes takes 6 wickets, Stuart takes 4 wickets. In between, Ireland were all out on the end of the first day for just a little bit over 200. England made 303 in their second innings, which finished on the first ball of the third morning. It was ups and downs all over the place, but for Ireland's part, they did, until they batted in their second innings, account for themselves really well. Certainly with the ball, Tim Murdo, who's a veteran of the Middlesex side here at Lords, he bowled outstandingly well in the first innings, taking 5 wickets. And even though it all fell away terribly here this morning in that pre-lunch session where they were all out for 38, the captain, William Porterfield, was able to say that at least they had that to draw on going forward. They know they can bowl out a side like England and they can take this forward with that wonderful memory.
A couple of hours, that first session was going to stay with a lot of players and Irish fans for a long time. Come and take 10 wickets in the first session and test the Lord. It was an unbelievable effort, and look, I'm delighted for Mertz to get himself up there and on that board. That's something that's never going to get taken away from. We knew from lunchtime on that day one, although it wasn't spoken about, that's something that's never going to get taken away regardless of the outcome of this game. Yes, he'd probably swap it anyway for a win, but it's something that he's always going to have, and it's great for him and great for Irish cricket.
For England's part with the bat, it wasn't pretty reading. A pair for Johnny Bairstow, a double failure for Rory Burns, Joe Root getting out in curious circumstances in the second innings, charging Mark Ardere. Mark Ardere, for a moment, not even professionally contracted. He's not on the Irish list at the moment. He was let go by Warwickshire in the county championship a couple of seasons ago. He bowled outstandingly well too, but England with the bat, unconvincing in the second innings after a dismal performance the first time around. This, of course, in some respects is an Ashes warm-up for them. They start their all-important series on Thursday, but still a lot to be concerned about. For Joe Root, even though they acknowledge that it wasn't a particularly good performance with the bat, far from it, he's pointing at the wicket here at Lords and saying that the balance between bat and ball wasn't where it needed to be a competitive test match. For his part, he would have liked to have seen more in it for batsmen and a fraction less in it for bowlers. Here was the England captain talking after their victory.
Yeah, I thought there wasn't a fair, well, not even close to a fair contest between bat and ball throughout the whole game. I thought there were obviously periods where it did get a little bit easier and better to bat, and we weren't at our best by any stretch. We managed certain periods very well. I thought we were put under pressure for some very good bowling from Ireland. I thought they exploited the conditions in that first morning in particular extremely well. But we found a way to win a game, and first innings, last innings, when you're getting scores like that, I don't think that's a fair reflect. Well, I think that tells a story in itself when the scores are as low as that on the service that you're playing on.
Summing up England's woes with the bat is the fact that their top scorer and man of the match was their number 11, Jack Leach. Would you believe, the man who made his debut last year as a left-arm orthodox spinner, he hasn't made a single score in double digits this year in the county championship. He was night watchman in England's second innings, which began on the first evening. Like I say, it was a very weird test match here. He went on to make 92, 8 runs short of what would have been the least likely century you could possibly conceive. He barely bowled. England played a second spinner in Leach because they thought with a hard track and the hot conditions, and boy, it was hot yesterday, as hot as we've ever seen in a test match in this country. They were sure it was going to turn, but they barely needed him. It was Leach with the bat. It's a crazy old story. Looking further afield as far as Ireland are concerned, they won't get many opportunities to play test cricket, although they are now a full member nation. Joe Root spoke passionately and forcefully, though, after play about the importance of Ireland receiving more opportunities, not just from England, but around the cricketing world, and forecasting that may not be a one-off what we saw in the first morning. We may see more times where England can run through far more fancied opponents.
Yeah, I think they earned the right this week in terms of playing test cricket. Their performance was very good, especially with the ball. given that it was bowler-friendly conditions, they were outstanding. They managed to put us under pressure throughout different parts of the game, of the 2 and a bit days, and throughout from that first, after about 7 or 8 overs, felt like we were on the back foot and we had to really scrap and fight to get back into the Test match. So I can see them upsetting a few big Test playing sides in the near future if given opportunity.
So for Ireland, what could have been? Had they made 182, it would have been one of the most special afternoons in the history of Test cricket. In the end, England have done something special in their own right. Chris Woakes, who there have been some concerns about leading into the Ashes series, he certainly didn't bowl at his best in the first innings. He took a bag of 6. Stuart was equally effective with 4 for himself. So as far as the bowling is concerned for England, the perfect tune-up for what will be, no doubt, a huge Test match next week at Birmingham when Australia arrive. The first Ashes Test at the Edgbaston Cricket Ground. It's going to be fantastic. Do not miss a ball on Crickbuzz. Can't wait to talk to you then.